I'll reinvent the same report that I brought back several months ago and provide you all the options. And again, you'll have the opportunity to consider, purchasing equipment or looking at the cost benefit of using a funding program. I'd say it's probably, right now it's too early to really give a lot of serious thought until we've flushed out the rest of the study.
Okay, so it is possible that we would have that option brought back to us as well.
No, I will bring that back to you.
That'd be very good, thank you.
Councillor Scott and Councillor Bonsteel, and then we have a planning meeting for 7:20.
Through you to Joel, I'm understanding right now that you're telling me about two separate issues, though. You're telling me one about dredging that needs to be done, and you're also telling me that right now on our riverbed there are obstacles that will create problems for the ice to go out. Is that correct?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. So have we anything in place? Like, we don't have a boat to go out and pull trees out of the river. Like, we don't. We have a little. We just have that little gray boat.
There's trees all over the river now.
We would have
from
to,
the last week.
Yes.
That, and they've gone right to where it's gonna form, where it does every year, where it jams, where it goes around the cut by the conservation area or the Port Prince Harbor in the Seven Winds, and it's already jamming there already. You can drive by there and look, and it's already doing its thing, and now the water's back low, and it's right across the river, right straight from the island to the conservation area.
So these trees are like how big? Are we talking small saplings?
No. We're talking full-size trees, 50, 60-foot trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
we would have to contract with the barge and the high-ho to come in and do that.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we do that work this time of the year with the species at risk?
That's the question we have to ask the ABCA.
Those are
We're
the
getting close
questions that we have.
to certain species will be spawning.
Okay. Councillor Bonsteel, go ahead.
Just a couple of things for you to Brent. Brent, when you've spoken with MNR, and we've never met with Fisheries and Oceans on this, have we?
No, we haven't. No, they run a small offset of Burlington that covers our area.
Okay, when you've met with MNR about this, what's the response?
We have to defer to the mayor because unfortunately that's the week I was
At
off.
that meeting.
Oh.
John was at the meeting and
Well,
Lori.
good Lord, this thing's been around for years. We're not talking recent meetings. I'm talking about a history of meetings. John, what's the response been when we go to the province and say, you can download so much, but you're breaking it? What's the response? Do they?
Well, I think to say they're empathetic to the situation, they point out that there are a lot of communities that are facing the same challenge. I think they're supportive of us addressing it. They recognize the importance of both the rivers and the role they play in our economies and fishing and so on and so forth. And that's why they support applying the WECI funding to a kind of a capital solution to it. But it has to be followed up with, again, it's not a one-time shot where we dredge it out. That there's a requirement in order to make the ice management study function, to make it an annual cleanup part of the annual operating budget of the municipality.
So the second part to that I have is, we have a little operation here in Ontario called emergency measures. And if that storm last week did have repercussions, have we called in emergency measures Ontario? Absolutely.
We haven't approached them about that particular issue because I think it's something far broader than just, there's as the ministry pointed out that day about the falling lake levels are compounding part of the issues that we're facing. Again, you get into all the jurisdictional issues about the role of the lake, the role of a natural water course, and so on and so forth, and saying, look, there's only so much that can be done.
So my third part then is, if we're willing, if our staff are willing, and if some of our common sense residents are willing, can we ask for a meeting with MNR? I think they need to hear this from the people. I think they need to put a face to a concern. Can we do that? We've got two councillors that are impacted by it. Let them take the lead role.
I don't think this is short term. If you can get granted or somehow get that $700 or $1 million or whatever to get the river cleaned out. Long time ago when it was cleaned out, and I'm including the mouth of the river when it was all brought back on Chicken Island. That was 29 years ago. You know what? It's water. you're not gonna get a fix for it forever. 29 years is pretty good. If we actually do some maintenance in Port Pranks that we pay for through our property, through all our taxes and stuff, it's gonna be, it'll be okay. Let's get it back to where it works and maintain it. And it won't be near as much as every year.
Okay.
You know, I don't understand why it's been neglected as long as what it's been.
I'm gonna move on. Thank you for making your presentation. We've heard what needs to be done. We have, council has heard that, we've listened to what needs to be done. Staff is still working on that, what can be done, and we'll have a report back in a couple of weeks, and we'll be in contact if as.
Are we gonna do something about it?
Pardon?
Is there gonna be something done about it? That's, you know, I don't wanna sit here and talk about it. We have for years, so.
That's, council will make that decision, but I think we need to move on to a planning meeting and we'll discuss it. Council will look at what we can do and do something. Or we'll let you know if we're not. And I don't think that's an option right now.
Well, I hope we don't hear back that there's another study going on with regard to the rivers. I've heard them for 34 years and I'm not gonna hear any more. I'd like to have some results done, please. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
I have
I'm
pictures.
speaking to the turn because I'm the
Yes,
peanut
you are.
gallery here.
Sorry.
But council needs to understand that somebody has responsibility to maintain this waterway, and a failure to do so, if it floods in the spring, and I have damage on my property, and somebody's also going to court to pay for that. You
Thank
have
you.
liability here for, and doing nothing.
I think
Doesn't
council
mean
under,
you address your liability.
council understands that. Thank you. The two men were the delegation. This is an open meeting. You're welcome to stay and listen. We're going to move on right now, and there'll be a move on to the public meeting under the planning act. I would ask for a motion to open a public meeting for the official plan amendment for OPA 05-2012. Councillor Scott, Councillor Cook, all in favor of that? It's carried. Okay, we have the applicant here to, I'd ask the planner, I guess, to speak to the application to start with.
Okay, before council tonight are two applications, an official plan amendment, OP-05 2012, and a zoning bylaw amendment application, Z009 2012, and they affect lands at 8903 Northville Road. And the application has been put in by Brad Zanting Limited. It's an application to allow a surplus farm dwelling to be severed from a farm. Mr. Zanting owns the property presently, and he has no need. He has another home. And he has no need of this particular property or this particular dwelling. Certainly we have allowed these in the past. Land has a number of designations. It's agriculture, and it has a hazard designation on it. And if council's read my report, there's some comments from the Sauble Bayfield Conservation Authority with respect to the existing dwelling being within the floodplain. However, the Conservation Authority is satisfied that the lot size being proposed by Mr. Zanting allows for development outside of the floodplain. Should the existing house ever be torn down, a new house would have to be built outside of the floodplain, as well as there would be safe access allowed to the property because of the size of it. We also had a letter from Corrine Nada, the chief building official, and she's satisfied with the lot size. As well, she's been out on site and done an investigation of the existing septic system and is satisfied with it also. The reason that council deals with these is because our current official plan does not provide for this. However, the provincial policy does, and there's a number of things that the provincial policy requires us to do if we're going to consider one of these consents. First of all, we have to rezone the remnant farm parcel to prohibit a dwelling, and that's been applied for through the rezoning. The other thing we have to be concerned about is the location of animal operations in relation to the existing